Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and before you are this year's Stanley Cup playoff brackets. Now, today, what I plan on doing is attempting to predict who is going to win the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, I've set up all the matchups as they seem to be now. We have the Florida Panthers taking on the New York Islanders, the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Detroit Red Wings, the Washington Capitals, who won the President's Trophy this year, taking on the Philadelphia Flyers, and then you have the Pittsburgh Penguins, excuse me, taking on the New York Rangers. Both Tampa Bay, Detroit finished. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm bringing you the 2016 NHL playoff prediction video. Yes, so we're going to try to predict the playoff winners. We have the Florida Panthers, who won the Atlantic Division, playing the New York Islanders, who are the wild card from the Metropolitan Division. Then we have number 2 and 3, Tampa Bay Lightning, playing the Detroit Red Wings. Then your President Trophy winners, the Washington Capitals, playing the Philadelphia Flyers. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers, who finished 2-3 in the the Metropolitan Division. My bad. And on the other side, you have the Dallas Stars, who won the Pacific Division, playing the Minnesota Wild, who finished in the first wild card position. And then you have the St. Louis Blues playing the Chicago Blackhawks, who finished 2-3 in the Central Division. My bad. The Dallas Stars won the Central Division. I'm getting my divisions a little mixed up this morning because Anaheim won the Pacific Division, and they're playing the Nashville Predators, who are also in the Central Division. So they're a Central Division wild card. And then you have LA and San Jose, who finished 2-3 in the Pacific Division. So how it stacks up against EA's prediction video, they had predicted that both Calgary and Colorado would make the playoffs, and in their stead, it is the Sharks and the Stars who made the playoffs. Same thing in the East, they had predicted the Jackets and the Montreal Canadiens, to my sorrow, because I really wish the Canadiens had made the playoffs. The Panthers and the Flyers take their place, and you know what? It's well deserved for the Panthers this year. They had an incredible season. Jaromir Jagr is really doing wonders for them. So good for them. And they're Stanley Cup champs. They have the Ducks beating the Canadiens in the finals. Now, this is still a possibility because the Ducks can win the Stanley Cup, but they will not be playing the Montreal Canadiens. They will be playing another team in the East. I'm going to sim the first round. Let's see what the results bring us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back in. So here we are at the end of the first round. We have the New York Islanders taking out the Florida Panthers in 6 games. They'll be playing the Detroit Red Wings, who won in 7. That big series from last year where they went to 7 games as well. So it again goes to 7 games, and Detroit takes it instead of Tampa this year. Now, no surprise there, the very strong Washington Capitals take their series in 5, and the New York Rangers will face them next after winning their series in 7 games. Same thing on the other side. We have Minnesota taking it in 5 to play the St. Louis Blues, who finally halter Chicago's big cup runs. You know, they're 3-6. They've been taken out in 5 games by the St. Louis Blues, who will face the Minnesota Wild. Now, Anaheim takes their series in 7 games, and they beat the Nashville Predators. The LA Kings take out the San Jose Sharks, and they win in 6 games. I'll meet you in a second at the players' point screen so we can see the leaders after the first round. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. So Stamkos, Stamkos is leading the NHL in points for the playoffs. Unfortunately, his team is now eliminated, but Datsuk, who was right behind him, he'll have a chance to take the points lead in his next series. And as we continue down, you've got Kopitar, Crosby, Steen, Riley Smith. Wow, a big show up for the Panthers. Then you have John Tavares, Jussi Jokinen, David Backes, Stepan, Gaborik, and Dano. And now let's oops, my bad. Now here's a look at your top 8 goaltenders. You have Jonathan Quick, Elliott, Dubnyk, Anderson, Howard, Halak, Holtby, and Lundqvist. Those are your top 8 goaltenders who will be moving on to the next round, and I will see you there after the sim is complete. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome back. The second round is complete. Here we have Minnesota. They beat the St. Louis Blues in 6 games, taking it 4-2. And get out your brooms, ladies and gentlemen, we have a sweep. The Anaheim Ducks have taken out the Kings 4-0. Now they'll be playing in the Western Conference Final for that chance at the Stanley Cup. So Anaheim versus Minnesota. And in the East, the Detroit Red Wings take it 4-2. They'll be facing the almighty Washington Capitals, who won their series 4-1 versus the New York Rangers. So a big aspect of what we're expecting from the Washington Capitals this year, you know, I'm personally expecting them to go to the Stanley Cup Finals because, well, you know what? I think it's due time for Ovechkin and the Capitals, and you know, with Holtby, actually I don't know if he set that record. I'm gonna take a quick look. I don't know if he ended up playing last night. I kind of missed it. I had hockey of my own, and no. So I guess no, they didn't even play Holtby. Okay, so the Washington Capitals, you know, they got a record-tying season from Holtby and a 50-goal season out of Ovechkin again. So you know what? They're deserving of a Stanley Cup run. I'm hoping they get it, but I'm also hoping that, you know, maybe Detroit goes, because there's talks of Datsuk retiring, so maybe he goes out with one. And in the West, I'm looking forward to, you know, maybe Mini going there, because I really I personally love Dubnyk. You know, I think he kind of got cheated when he was in Edmonton with how bad the team did. So I think, you know, had he been there now with all the talent they have, it may have proven to be much better than when he was there. As for Anaheim, you know, I mean, I'm a big fan of Getzlaf and Perry and all that, but at the same time, they've got their cup. Let's let someone else have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll meet you at the points leader screen. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So, as anticipated, Pavel Datsuk is leading now. He only scored 5 points in his series, but you know what? He's got the lead. And, you know, there's a quick look. Kopitar, Tavares, Steen, Zetterberg, Perry, they all came up. And, you know, here's Stamkos from the last series. You have Vanek, Stepan, Backes. And we're going to take a quick look at the goalies. Your top 4 goaltenders now are Dubnyk being one of them. Dubnyk, Anderson, Howard, and Holtby. They're your top 4 goaltenders going into the conference finals. Let's get that simmed, and I'll meet you guys back at the playoff tree. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. So, much predicted, EA Sports got one thing right this year. The Ducks are going to the Stanley Cup final, as it seems. They'll be taking on the Washington Capitals. So Anaheim dispatched of the Minnesota Wild 4-2, whereas Washington took it pretty easily, it seemed, 4-1. They'll be your Stanley Cup finalists. Excuse me. I got the hiccups there a bit. So let's take a look at the points leaders, and then we will sim the Stanley Cup champion. Okay, so nothing's changed too much. We still got Datsuk in the lead here. He's got 16 points. Zetterberg's got 15, and then there's Backstrom coming up in the back here. You've got your Corey Perry, Johansson, Ovechkin, Getzlaf. So all of Anaheim, Washington are starting to creep up, and we'll see if one of those guys can get to the top. And quick look at your two final goaltenders. Simple enough. You've got what I believe should be Anderson and Holtby. There you go. Anderson and Holtby, your two best goaltenders. Let's take a quick look at those Stanley Cup champions, and let's find out who wins. So, ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. Here are your Stanley Cup champions. The Anaheim Ducks have won it. They have won it in overtime for the Game 7. You guys will see the playoff tree in just a couple minutes. But yeah, it was huge. I decided to sim, and then when I was simming that last game, it went all the way to overtime, so I decided to intervene and watch. And wow, what an overtime period it was. But here are your Stanley Cup champions, and Frederik Andersen, yeah, you know what, with numbers like that, well deserved for the Conn Smythe winner. He gets the trophy from what is, I'm assuming, supposed to be Bettman, but, and there it is, Ryan Getzlaf, he's accepting the trophy. The Stanley Cup champions are the Anaheim Ducks. Alright, so here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Anaheim Ducks are your Stanley Cup champions. As predicted at the beginning of the season by EA Sports, it again happened, but this time they took on the Washington Capitals instead of the Montreal Canadiens, and they won it in the most dramatic fashion ever. They take it in Game 7 in overtime. You know, my heart goes out to Washington. You know, I really wanted them to win, but the Anaheim Ducks take it. Congrats to the Stanley Cup champions. Now I'm going to take you over to the points leaders just one more time so you guys can see who led. You guys saw that Frederik Andersen won the Conn Smythe. It's a big honor for a goaltender. So let's take you to the point section. I'll see you there. Alright, so here you are, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the Stanley Cup finals. We have Corey Perry, who led with the most points. He was tied with Nick Backstrom for 21. And then you had Ovechkin, Getzlaf, Horkov, Datsuk, Burakovsky, Johansson, all of those guys making up the rear. And then, as I said, you had your Conn Smythe winner, who was Frederik Andersen, and he had great numbers. They only showed him very, very briefly, but here are his numbers. He had a 1.88 goals against average and a .938 save percentage with 16 wins and 6 losses. Goals against of 46, and like I said, he must have played amazing. He won the Conn Smythe. So I'm going to take you one more time to the playoff tree, and we are going to wrap up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, back at the playoff tree for just one more time, and the quick wrap up is the Anaheim Ducks are your Stanley Cup champions. So, I hope you guys enjoy the playoffs. I know I'm going to. I love playoff hockey every year. It's exciting. You get into it. I personally, I'll be polling for both Mini and Washington. Besides from the Montreal Canadiens, I really do. I mean, I'm a big fan of goaltenders. I play myself. I switch back and forth between goalie and forward, depending on what my team needs. And then Mr. Alex Ovechkin, I'm a huge fan of his. When I play player, I wear his sweater just to well, it's kind of like a T-shirt. It's my go-to on how to score properly. I wear a Great Scorers T-shirt. So everyone, I really hope you enjoyed. Leave any comments. We'd love to hear your feedback on what you think the playoffs are going to look like. And everyone, have a great day.